And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, WrestleMania 40 is over. How are we feeling tonight?
That it is. I am feeling drained, but in a positive way, Brad. It's been such a busy weekend. Yes. There's so much content, especially in this case, wrestling content to consume. I am embarrassingly behind. The Bray Wyatt documentary, first 15 I saw, NXT Stand and Deliver. This is a great way to promote this week's podcast. NXT Stand and Deliver. Just caught highlights. Haven't watched the full show yet, but I did see all of WrestleMania, and I'm feeling so good about it, man. How about you? How are you?
I feel exactly the same way. I started the Bray doc when I don't have time to finish it, so I can't be Cody. I'll do this over 2 years. I got out of there. I hit B, as it were, and left. Maybe circle. I think I was on the PlayStation. I can't remember. Now,
makes sense.
Same thing for Stand and Deliver. Didn't see a second. I actually wanted to watch this, especially Mello and Trick, and haven't had a chance. I saw Braun moving the ring around. We'll catch it eventually. I say that now, knowing I don't know if I'm going to catch it eventually. You know how it is. Tomorrow we got Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
How can I can't do anything else but Raw after Mania, and
we're going to talk Dynamite, or we're going to talk AEW later in this episode. There's a lot, man.
There's so much, Tyler, and I don't know a better way than to just get into it. So, you want to let people know what we're doing tonight?
You know I do. So, WrestleMania 40, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Rather than going match by match by match, we are taking a unique approach, and this is brand new for us here at GI, Brad. In the past, we've done awards. We've tried a few different approaches. This time, I gave you a task. I have the same task. We are going to discuss our 5 biggest headlines, respectively, each following WrestleMania 40. And it's really about WrestleMania weekend as a whole. I don't know what Brad is bringing to the table. He doesn't know what I'm bringing to the table. But we're probably going to talk about the head of the table because Roman Reigns is no longer champion. Cody finished his story. Brad, let's get into it. Are you ready for my first headline?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do this thing. So number 1 for me, and I took kind of a different approach here. Some of my headlines are actually questions, which I don't know if that defeats the purpose, but we're going to talk about it right now. Number 1. What or who is the closest professional sports comp to Cody's last 7 years? I wrote down, in this case, I typed some ideas. We have Lionel Messi, a nearly 20-year career for Barcelona, and then in 2023, he signs with Inter Miami and is just the biggest star in his sport by far. Next option.
Huge Apple deal.
Yeah. I don't love the comp, but hear me out. I have 2 other possibilities. Caitlin Clark, big weekend for her. 12 million viewers for the LSU game on Friday.
Amazing.
I don't know what the number is for the championship game. Yesterday, listening to this on Monday, right? Sunday championship game against South Carolina. I'm sure it surpassed that number, but women's college hoops has never been hotter, and in large part that's due to Caitlin Clark and other stars in the women's game right now. Final option, and this is probably the best one, B. LeBron James, the decision.
It's LeBron.
Going from Cleveland to Miami, ushering in player empowerment. The game done changed since LeBron has entered. That's got to be the answer, right? It's King James. That's the pro sports equivalent to Cody starting his own company, coming back, and now being the face of the industry.
Absolutely. My first thought when you said it, what is the closest comp? The first person that came to mind was LeBron. The thing is that the next stop for Cody is the Lakers run. That's Cody's next step, because LeBron started in Cleveland, right? Cody started in the WWE, and then it left to go do other things after not winning, not accomplishing what he wanted to. Now, Cody held gold in AEW. He didn't hold the big belt. LeBron won championships in Miami, but everybody kind of looked at it sideways. Well, you had to get a super team. You had to do it this different way.
It was a heel turn.
It was an absolute
effectively.
Heel turn. Not
Just
one,
like Cody,
not two, not three, not four, not five, not six.
Yeah, the Heatles, AEW fans turned on Cody. We remember how this went, Brad.
Yes.
The Codyverse.
Yes,
people rebelled.
They were burning jerseys in Cleveland, and
they were. Yes, they were.
It was wild out there, man. Snyder was too. It was crazy. The actual Snyder cut.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
That was an era that we lived through.
It's a dark time, man. I don't know that people were doing that for Cody, but Cody was certainly burning Stardust uniforms.
But then Braun went back to Cleveland. But then babyface turn,
and won. And finished the story. He did not cry when he won with the Heat.
That's tough.
But he sobbed on the court in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. That's the one, man. Like, that is the one. It's the only one. Now, that means eventually he's going to drop. Cody's going to lose, but maybe he wins another one. Maybe as a heel. Maybe that's the turn. LeBron went to LA. Or maybe at that point, it's just legacy guy. Now, he signed for several more years in WWE. It doesn't mean he's going to stay there afterward. I would imagine he's going to continue on after that if it keeps up like this. I'm sure we'll get into that with another headline down the road here. As I hear something loudly bang behind me in the hallway.
I heard that too.
Well, hopefully Mom.
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel so good about this gimmick. That I had to bring the heat for my first one, Brad. That's my first headline. What you got for me?
Okay, Tyler, this is an actual headline and not a question. I'm merging two of them here. My first headline I didn't finish like a story. It was simply Cody Rhodes. And we already covered it, so I made some alternates just in case. Here's my headline coming out of WrestleMania weekend, not coming out of WrestleMania. Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech. Tyler, something shifted this weekend. There was change in the air. And I felt it start with Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech. Now, I'm not going to repeat some of the words Paul said or the sounds he made for RVD or anything of that nature, but I don't know if you popped the way I did when they started playing the ECW music. But it's like the show started and we hear that like weird wind-up sound. Oh, it's just so good. And it was perfect.
Can't confirm. Nostalgia City.
When he pulled the phone out of the box too.
He says this was the real one. How did they?
Yeah, that was great. That was legitimately like, oh shoot, this is my actual phone that I hit a dude with. Absolutely incredible. Paul Heyman. This was Paul Heyman's weekend, and he was in both shows. I know Roman was too, but Paul was there the whole time. He was there consoling the tribal chief, hopefully giving him words of how proud of him he was and how much he helped the company. And honestly, according to Paul, how much it meant to him to bring him back in and give him a reason to be there. And that story made so much sense. And I don't know how much creative input he had, but it's Paul Heyman. Now, my question is, does Paul Heyman give that same speech under Vince McMahon?
There's no way.
Well, there's a better question here. Is Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame while still in the company under Vince McMahon?
Under Vince, I would say so. But do we get the content, the tenor, the vibes of that speech? There's no way. It's a new era, Brad. You nailed it. And the fact that, and this was a theme throughout the weekend, putting over Triple H, for Paul Heyman to use his speech to say, I'm a Paul Levesque guy. And then we get several minutes of love for Triple H, which is awesome. It seems like genuinely, not only are the fans giving Triple H his flowers, but the employees of WWE, the talent, it seems like they are fully bought into this guy's stewardship. He's the captain now.
They got me bought in. It's wild. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, it was. We're going to talk about this as we continue on. It does feel like this is definitely a new era, and I'm excited to see what that leads to, man. I can't believe Cody did it. Like
Yeah.
Roman Reigns losing is as much I think a signifier of one chapter closing. We're just gonna go heavy on the book puns, I guess. One chapter closing and another starting. Like it's jarring that Roman dropped the belt, man.
Yeah,
We're probably
Cody
not gonna
came
see him
out
for a bit.
to the press conference, very teary.
Yes.
It turns out he didn't know. I thought it was really cool that he did not know that his dad, when he won his first championship, the locker room came out into the ring with him. Cody just won his first championship and the locker room came out. So I don't know if that was planned or if it was just whatever. He's not even sure, but listening to him talk about what it meant to win this and all the people that helped him along the way, absolutely amazing. But Cody came out wearing a shirt that said the story continues, and it has to, right? Like the story never ends. The story is the point. And I really like that. I love Paul Heyman shouting out Cody Rhodes at the Hall of Fame speech as well. And just remarkable weekend for Paul Heyman and for the WWE in general. And not to, I have a feeling we're going to overlap on at least one headline going forward here, because we already kind of did with the Cody one. So that was all I got for questions or headlines that I know you weren't going to do, because the rest
I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna surprise you.
All right.
Okay, let's do it. That's a great transition for me. Let's roll into my second headline. This is a true headline. There's a definitive period. No question marks here. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, even better than advertised. I thought he was crucial this weekend, and he brought it in a way that even surpassed my highest expectations. Brad, you and I released a 4-part series on this man last week. It's clear where we stand on The Rock. Huge fans. If you haven't checked out that 4-part series, please do. It was really great. We know who this man is, but I thought in the tag match he looked really strong, and just his presence really added to WrestleMania XL. Like, if I can't think of another WWE legend where if you insert them in the spot, they deliver and they capture the fan base's attention the way The Rock can. Obviously, night 2 in the main event, or WrestleMania Sunday, John Cena comes out, and then you get that moment where it's The Rock and Cena in the ring, and they have that stare down. The Rock just checked all the boxes for me this weekend. I thought he was critical to making this happen, and he exceeded what I thought his performance was going to look like, especially in the ring on WrestleMania Saturday. Even better than advertised.
I completely agree with you. While I thought the main event of night 1 was often painfully slow, I thought everything that he did in there was perfect. The way he carried himself, the way he handled himself. We have storylines coming out of this because Roman lost. That he got to interact with John Cena tonight in one of the biggest moments of so many incredible moments, just rat-a-tat-tat. And there was I saw a lot of complaining, Tyler. I went online and I shouldn't have. I saw a lot of complaining about how overbooked this match was. Bro, it was fun. Who cares? Who cares?
It's The Rock. Like, come on. We finally got him. We've been yearning for this for years.
We got the final proper appropriate Jimmy J battle. Much better than their actual match. Because I thought they deserved better than that. That match should have had more hype, B, a better spot on the card.
I felt that way about several matches this week.
Yeah. It was by no means bad, and
the focus
we know they're
was
incredible talent, but
on the main event and kind of
they just
overshadowed everything else.
They got lost in that, and it's like that deserved so much better. So seeing Jay spear Jimmy off the stage, seemingly to his death, was such a great shot and a great setup. And then to immediately after that have Solo come out, Cena's music hits, Cena takes out Solo,
and it's like, oh yeah, they had their beef. They had their. I was like, I totally forgot about that.
All
of it
made
Cena
sense.
and Roman. It's Cena and Solo.
Cena and Solo had their beef, and Cena and Solo made so much sense in that moment. Yeah. And then obviously The Rock and Cena,
and the way they shot it, Brad. Tell me how you felt about the way they shot Cena's
incredible. Face. The turn, all of it was shot so well.
It was great.
Yes, and then for The Rock to get the upper hand, take the belt, get ready to whoop on Cody. and the gong to go off and the lights to go out. The way I yelled in my living room probably scared the neighbors. And I did that for Brandy coming out early in the night.
Shout out to Brandy.
I was just here going like, yeah, none of this happens, I think, without The Rock's influence and without the community and the culture that Triple H has been able to cultivate there. I know it's not just him, and he's got a lot of people back there that are working too, but ultimately it's Michael Cole said something on commentary when they were talking about Triple H, and it's that they want to work for him. And I don't think they're saying I want to be employed for them. I think they're saying I want to work hard for him. And I think The Rock just being like, whatever we got to do to make this the best thing possible. What's best for business? What's going to be the most memorable thing? What's going to make people go, holy crap, that happened? I have to see what happens Monday. Monday's going to be crazy. So many stories ended yesterday, Tyler, that I don't know where any of this is going next, but I think we have some ideas, which should probably lead us into the next spot. Tyler, I have two here, and I'm debating which one I want to go for first. So I'm going to go with this. There's a storyline that's been simmering for probably about a decade, almost a decade now. It's got to come to a head. And that's Seth and Roman. Seth and Roman, man, both of them ended up costing each other their matches this weekend. Seth and Cody lose because Seth and Roman and Roman interacting and ultimately costing them the match. Seth lost to Roman. Well, technically he won. He got choked out by Roman when they had the rematch, when he came down to the Shield music with the vest, and then Roman got DQ'd. So lost, but retained. And then last night, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. Roman could have ended Cody with the chair, but he took out Seth instead.
That was my favorite part of the whole main event. It was brilliant.
It was unbelievable. And the thing that I thought was great is that Seth is stopped immediately, like had no chance of even getting in there. I thought that was the best part. It was a great decision because we already saw that with them. Seth playing head games, right? Like Mind Game Jones. And then Roman going, no, we did this before, and taking him out.
That was so funny when he instantly... it was so quick that I thought maybe it was like a Seth doppelganger. And Seth was going to come out from under the ring. I was like, oh no, he just Superman punched dude that quickly?
Yeah. And then Seth popped up later on, but they were both up. And the way that Roman hit Seth and the way that Seth sold it was exactly how it happened with the Shield breakup.
Yes. What a great nod to your longtime fans.
Amazing.
It was
and this
I'm getting chills.
Yes.
Thinking about it. Like that was my favorite part of the entire main event.
And that faction was so beloved, right? Like I saw it on reruns, but I think the thing that's coming out of this, the headline here is Seth and Roman are definitely going to have to battle it out here. Neither of them have belts. There's no reason not to put them in a feud. So Roman has something to do next. Seth has something to do next, hopefully after they recover a little bit, but it's the WWE. So you have no idea what's next. Cause I assume tomorrow we're going to see some call-ups and the landscape's going to shift a little bit. So I'm super excited for that.
Definitely. Yeah. There could be an argument to be made. And maybe you're making this case right now, my man, that the story has always been Seth versus Roman. Yeah, 100%. They feuded with other guys along the way, but that's always been the one. I can't wait. Pro wrestling, and WWE is saying pro wrestling now at every turn. Pro wrestling is so great.
Michael Cole damn near ended the show with "I love professional wrestling."
That was a statement. That was very intentional.
Hugely. So I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts.
I figured you might. Okay. I love this gimmick. Third headline for me. This is my last headline that's phrased as a question. Did Bayley jump a spot in the 4 horsewomen conversation with her huge win at WrestleMania 40? And I have some kind of sub notes here. To me, Bayley is one of the biggest winners of the weekend. I mean, I could tell I think all of us could tell, Brad, from the moment she entered Lincoln Financial, the entrance, the gear, the cool hair, just her confidence. It was like, oh man, this is Bayley's night. Like she's finally going to get her signature Mania moment. She had a really fun match with Io Sky. Obviously, you and I are big fans of both. One of the best stories, if not the best story, heading into tonight. And I thought it was one of the best matches of WrestleMania weekend. Again, the crowd 100% behind her, serenading her for the majority of the match. And it's interesting to me because we tend to discuss her the least out of the 4 horsewomen. Because, I mean, she is amongst titans in the industry. The man, Becky Lynch. The queen, many people's GOAT, Charlotte Flair. And then, of course, the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks. Bayley seems to me often to be fourth in that conversation. I'm wondering, leaving the show, and to your point, Brad, heading into this new era, this new season of WWE with Bayley on top of the SmackDown women's division, is she going to climb another notch or two? And are we going to put some more respect on her name? I hope we are. I think I have reason to be optimistic because this was just one of the biggest nights of her career.
So this might be a little hot takey here, but I have always thought that in the 4 horsewomen, it's always been Bayley at the top. I've never thought she was at the bottom. She gets talked about the least, but
yeah,
she's, I don't know, she's the best one in it. I don't even think Sasha's top 2. And I know that's going to make you mad. Hold on. Listen to me.
At Wind Duster on X. You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah,
LinkedIn too.
As long as you keep listening. Sasha's the best wrestler. She's the best wrestler in the group by far.
Sasha, okay.
By far, she's one of the best wrestlers, men, women, period, in the world. Rank them according to promo, Tyler.
I would say
I don't want you to, but
Sasha might be coming in 3rd or 4th in that conversation. Becky and Bayley top 2 in that.
Becky and Bayley top 2 overall.
Yeah,
because overall they're the most well-rounded of the bunch.
Charlotte's plus
close.
in-ring.
Promo and in-ring and presence and all of that stuff. Now, in terms of character development, Bayley's this is her 3rd one now where she's somewhere in between. She's not a hugger, but she's still the role model, but not like the ironic role model that is the heel bad guy. Because that Thunderdome era Bayley will never be touched by any of them. That is the best character work that any of them have ever done. I mean, it's incredible. And then Becky, the man, really good talker, really strong. I don't think she's up there with Bayley. I think Bayley is the best talker of the bunch, but maybe they're 1A and 1B. I don't know. I don't like ranking stuff, so I don't like thinking about it that way because they're all great in their own respect. But like Bayley not getting talked about pisses me off so much that I want to look at it and go like, oh, how are these people better than her? But I don't want to do that because they all have their own strengths. Again, Charlotte, name somebody more athletic from when she started to this point now. Nobody's been doing it as consistently for as long as she has. And
she's one of the GOATs.
And she was absolutely somebody that broke barriers to do that stuff. So
all of these women are barrier breakers.
Charlotte had to live up to Ric Flair expectations.
We don't even think of her pops anymore. We haven't for a long time.
No, it's Charlotte just carved out her own name based on her dad's legacy, but did it so well that we just think of her separately as the queen and don't even take note that she's coming out to the same theme song, doing the woo, doing chops because she's so good at it. So right. I'm not putting shade on anybody here. I just think that Bayley being the best overall performer in that group and not being talked about like that, it just drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huge weekend for her. So happy.
And they're all incredible.
We're talking about,
they're the horsewomen for a reason. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Brad, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I want to hear your third. I mean, we're talking, you laid out a great case for Charlotte there. Sasha, we're talking about Sasha freaking Banks, Mercedes Moné, game changer. And then Becky Lynch, the man character revolutionized. I mean, it transcended wrestling. She was the biggest wrestler in the world. Like that was, you're right. I mean, these 4 are just, they're 4 future Hall of Famers, first ballot, unquestionably. 100%. They're all amazing, and we love each.
They're the greatest group of women wrestlers of all time.
Definitely.
And
they changed the game.
And if you consider them as a group, they might be they're at least the top 5 groups of all time. And that's it can't be understated. I love all of them for different reasons. So this one, I'm going to ignore my WWE Women Tore It Up headline here, which is what I had on there because I added another one just in case. It's a little bit overlapping my other one, but I'll try to keep it concise. Tyler, did the Paul Levesque, I'm asking you a question, did the Paul Levesque era, not the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era, which is people are clearly calling it that and breaking that character to go, no, this isn't a character's era. This is the man, his era, not Becky Lynch, but the other man, Paul Levesque. So the Paul Levesque endorsement or era, is that the thing that's going to end or hurt AEW the most? Now, before you answer the question, a little bit about why I was thinking this. Number one, I can't think of a weekend or an event, WWE event, with more cursing or innuendo or just PG-13 TV 14 language in recent memory. It's been 20 years since it's been like that. And even that's saying something. Like, I'm not even sure there. Like The Rock going like, no, this is fine. I'm just going to drop F-bombs like a machine gun in here. We're going to have some jabroni in a Prime costume say the F word a bunch of times. Some no-name person that 18 teenage people like on the internet. I saw that. Cody got color last week. The physicality of all the hardcore spots, all of that stuff. The real question is, has WWE become the alternative that AEW was supposed to be?
Dang. Well, you win this one, Brad. That's the best headline that we're gonna get on this list. I got 2 heaters for you, but yours is incredible. And it's not a rhetorical question. You're asking for my
No. I look, man. The ratings are down in AEW, even though the product's still really good.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about them later.
Yeah, and I'll save my conversation for then. But you know how big of an AEW guy I am, and I think both of us love the WWE, but have wanted it to be better. Tyler, it's better.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. It's kind of all the things we were hoping that we would get. We got it.
And not to mention CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes. I mean, there's some familiar faces that are down there.
Andrade.
Andrade, certainly. So they are, it certainly feels that way in terms of WWE starting to become, ironically, that alternative to old WWE. They've just been doing things really well lately. If you combine the insane roster with the storylines, with the consistent product, with it seems like every premium live event just goes well production wise. I mean, Brad, it's a great time to be a WWE fan.
Yeah.
And the fact that now we're leaning in, like you said, to this Paul Levesque era, which is really noted. You mentioned it's not the Triple H era, it's Paul Levesque. There's a certain level of sincerity and realness. And I think now with the old man being out, you can just feel better about supporting WWE and really getting behind, it would seem leadership is much more ethical and less, inhumane. Yeah. Who doesn't want to support that? If I already love pro wrestling and I've already grown up with WWE for years and years. Yeah, man, I think they're really entering a golden era. And hopefully this is a extra motivation. This is kind of an emergency for AEW to really step up their game and enter their golden era as they continue on with their 5th year of business as we head to the 5th anniversary of Double or Nothing.
Yeah, and I really like what they're doing. I think it's
me too.
They got they do have alternative things. So people that are hearing this are gonna be like, but they do have alternative product. It's like, but is it alternative enough? Is our tournaments going to be the draw when WWE is doing tournaments? Or is CMLL, that partnership, really going to be the thing that gets people to turn on the TV and be like, oh, good, that promotion in Mexico is wrestling tonight. But all your guys are down in Mexico wrestling. Kenny Omega's injured. Who knows when he's coming back? Hopefully he gets well. But then you have all these other people that just off your TV. You go on WWE and they've made it so that almost everybody that's on your screen is a star and not somebody that needs to be developed, because they have a developmental system. AEW is doing it on the fly, and sometimes there's growing pains and mistakes and steep learning curves. It just doesn't seem quite as alternative anymore than when we were getting really dumb stuff with Happy Corbin and just a really bad time over there, mixed with some really great stuff with Roman Reigns and everything. But there's just really bad stuff.
Yeah, and I think AEW needs to continue. It's much like some of the sports teams you and I root for, Brad. Tragically, when they end up, breaking our hearts, what is AEW's identity?
Yeah,
I think they're really in that stage now of figuring out who they are in that sense.
And to Cody's point in the press conference the other night, or with his interview last week, they're essentially still a startup company. They're still figuring things out.
100%. And that's part of why we love supporting them so much. And, when I watch wrestling every week, my first go-to is usually Dynamite. I confess that.
Me too. I love Dynamite.
Episode. Yeah.
Dynamite
comes second.
Dynamite's my favorite wrestling show on TV. So it sounds like I'm really trying to bury AEW.
No, me too.
For me, Wednesday nights are appointment viewing for me. So I can't sit here.
People who know us know that. Yeah.
But Raw is like 3 hours. Man, it's a long time.
But tomorrow,
I'll be
after Mania is a thing. It's a vibe.
I'll be watching it with my one eye taped open to do homework over here, and then it's gonna be a brutal afternoon for me. But whatever, it's got to happen because Raw is gonna rule.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into our final four. So my second to last headline, and I'll try not to be long-winded on this one, even though she certainly deserves all the words and all the flowers. Samantha Irvin.
Man. Oh, yes.
Most beloved non-in-ring talent in WWE. The only other person on my mind tonight is a gentleman you mentioned earlier, Paul Heyman, right? Like this weekend, Paul Heyman got a lot of flowers. I mean, he's not in-ring talent in the traditional sense, but obviously he's been involved in all of these storylines and is paramount to, the last 4 years of WWE programming. But to me, this weekend, it was evident that Samantha Irvin just, we're in a presidential election year. We talk about approval ratings. I think she has as close to a 100% approval rating as any non-in-ring talent in WWE. She was stellar throughout the weekend. So it seems like whenever I choose to log on to social media, the algorithm just gives me Sam Irvin and gives me a lot of praise for Samantha Irvin, which makes me really happy because she's great. And I think she's really entered a season of her WWE career where she's just having an amazing run in that company. And she brings so much to the product. So big shout out to her. I thought she was one of the stars this weekend.
I don't have anything to add. I thought she was one of the best parts of the show both days. And the fact that she could do it without stammering once. And when it was because she was genuinely and legitimately so emotional on the call.
When she called Cody.
When she called Cody at the end of the night. When she called Sammy yesterday.
Right.
Or 2 days ago as you listened to this.
Sammy defeated Gunther. Yeah.
Amazing.
Changing of the guard. Mm-hmm.
That's the moment. Now, forget all the swearing and cussing. That was the moment where I was like, oh, things are different. We just did a brain buster onto the turnbuckle in WWE. El Generico getting up there. Like that was,
I was watching wild with George and his wife, Tony. And in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I would pull that off on 2K. That was
I know I wouldn't.
That was a bold move for all parties involved. Let's go.
Yeah. I couldn't even figure out how to get up onto the turnbuckle on 2K.
I still need to play 2K24. That's something else I'm behind on. I need to get my hands on a copy of that.
Yeah, let me know how that goes. I still have my 23 that I played once. Okay. So one of the things that came out of the weekend was I have two things here. I'll go with this one. There was some unfortunate timing or unfortunate match sponsorships that people were calling out this weekend.
I'm so glad you brought this up because it is on my honorable mentions list. Let's talk about it.
Tyler, I feel like you should talk about it more than I should.
This was not good.
No,
This was
it
not
was bad. It was bad.
Not everything went off without a hitch this weekend. Yeah, man. And this, I'm going to bring our dear friend and former GI guest George Romero back to the stage. So the first time this became an issue was during the tag match, right? Andrade and Rey Mysterio, that is, versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. And the sponsor that was highlighted during that particular match was Minute Maid's Agua Frescas. And so I looked at George and Tony, and I was like, I forget who brought it up first. It may not have been me, but I specifically just remember laying out and looking at them and saying, do we have an issue with this one? This doesn't feel like something's off about this. And then to follow up, I think this was also night one. This was WrestleMania Saturday, Brad.
It was
during the 6-woman tag.
Yes, it was.
Jade, Bianca, Naomi. Jade Cargill's in WWE now. Huge deal.
Yeah.
Wingstop was the presented sponsor as they totally squashed Damage Control. So we know I'm here for the Paul Levesque era, but we got to do some quality control, my man. This was major suck in place stuff.
It was bad.
I'm happy for people getting their bread and getting their money, but I have questions about who decided that sponsorship order.
So do I. It's pretty bad. And
the Minute Maid, the Frescas was really on the nose.
That one was just
I think
right
that's what I told
I
think that's what I told Tony and George. I was like, this feels really on the nose.
Well, the Wingstop one, I didn't even think about it until I went online and saw somebody said they're really going to have the fried chicken place up.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
Points were made. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then poor Jimmy and Jay implying that they have stinky asses by having their match sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Good product, by the way. Not to go TMI, but I actually have that.
Oh, I have the travel packs at my desk.
There you go.
That's cool. Hell yes.
Maybe a future GI sponsor.
Yes. And then what was the main event? The American Home Shield, I think, is
America,
because that ad was up there for a while. And also shout out American Home Shield. Thanks for fixing my washer.
That's so true. I'm so glad you brought that up. I think it's time, Brad. Our final two headlines from WrestleMania weekend. I am going into my NXT bag for this one. Again, Full transparency. That's what we do here. Keep it 1,000. I need to watch the full match. But Trick Williams, biggest star of the NXT 2.0 era. There are so many talented people in NXT. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes, we can assume he's moving up to the main roster this week. You highlighted Braun Breaker earlier, Brad. Roxanne Perez, Tiffany Stratton. I mean, there are several contenders for this spot. But
star of the year, right? Tiffany
Star, definitely.
No, I think she got the award at the Slammies.
Oh, I didn't even know that. As she should. Yeah. As she should. Trick Williams, biggest star of the NXT 2.0 era, and definitely on the men's side. To me, Brad, he has something really special, and we've seen him develop right before our very eyes, from being a manager who never wears a shirt to now being the face of the men's division in NXT, one of the most over acts in all of WWE. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. I would predict that he's going to become champion. I think he's the guy to dethrone Ilya Dragunov, and that would be a huge rub. Where a star is born. We're watching Trick ascend, and I think that's really special. You mentioned him and Carmelo headlining the first time two black men have headlined an NXT show, I believe, a premium live event. Really big deal.
Record-setting attendance too.
Record-setting. Yeah, man. I want Trick as champ. I'm glad Roxanne is champ. NXT is really, really cooking right now. Trick Williams, biggest star. This is his year. Let's get it.
Hard to disagree. Was Trick and Carmelo were the two that were invited or made to go by Cameron Grimes to Dexter Loomis's house, right?
I think so. I'm
pretty sure it was
back
them.
To that, right? And again, Trick was just a tall, muscular, heavy.
Where's Dexter Loomis?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if that's part of the Triple H era. We're gonna find out, or the Paul
Yes, we
Levesque
will.
era. Excuse
Yes,
me.
we will.
I hope he is, because it's such a fun character. Okay, my final headline for you. Now, it was either between Gunther. He's definitely primed to go after the bigger gold at this point. I'm sure when we're done with this, we can hit honorable mentions, maybe in what we missed. But I think the biggest headline coming out of this is CM Punk is definitely going to be the guy to fight Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Like, it's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen at King of the Ring. I think they'll save that so that it's in front of a huge crowd, or at least they'll have a match at that point. Maybe it'll be a triple threat between those two and Sheamus. Who knows? But we're definitely going to see that down the line. But CM Punk seems to be healed, or at least heel. We'll see what happens with this footage on Wednesday. But he definitely took off the arm brace and took out Drew, blew the kiss, a throwback, and then turned into the meme where it's like the music is playing and he does the head turn to Damian Priest. Drew and Punk coming out of this is my headline. My thoughts are this program's going to rule, because Drew's going to be pissed that he cost him the match and the title. All of those things are going to happen. It's going to be so great. Now, shout out to Damian Priest. I don't want to bury the lead here, and Damian Priest deserves that headline. But what a cash in! But also, it's the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match for me. What say you?
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because Drew McIntyre's sheer hubris cost him. If he was, if he wasn't showboating in front of, if he wasn't crotch chopping
during the match,
yeah,
bored at work, LOL.
If he wasn't crotch chopping CM Punk,
yes,
for just, I don't know what it clocked out at, but for several minutes,
a long time.
One could argue he would still be champ.
He could, yeah,
like you said, that program's going to rule. It makes all the sense for that to be the main event, not even just on the card, Brad, but the main event of Clash at the Castle. Totally. Big business there, and like you said, Damian Priest. I mean, I remember when he was tagging with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania a few years ago.
Yes.
What a great addition to the roster. What a great way to reward someone who seemingly treats people well and works really hard at his craft. I love that final headline.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Well, Brad, obviously it is a really great season to be a wrestling fan. It's also a great season to live in Arizona and probably most parts of these United States. And we have a sponsor who is here to help you maximize this spring and eventually summer. Grand Patio exists to ensure you're all set for the great weather and great memories ahead the rest of this year. For over 20 years, Grand Patio has partnered with renowned designers to create livable and luxurious collections that can transform your backyard into a personal oasis. Their products include umbrellas, recliners, gazebos, sectionals, and much more. Visit our affiliate link, grandpatio.sjv.io/G, capital I, capital P, lowercase OD, spells out GI pod, to shop their collection today. Once again, that's grandpatio, all lowercase, .sjv.io/G, capital I, capital P, lowercase OD, and shop their collection today.
Well, Tyler, I know when you enter an agreement to buy something, you have to sign a contract, and if it's filmed, sometimes you can release that footage. We got to talk AEW, Tyler.
We got to get into some AEW conversation, man. So first, we would be remiss if we didn't highlight some key points of the past week, particularly on Dynamite. Swerve and Samoa Joe, the contract signing. It's gonna happen, Brad. We got Cody at WrestleMania. We're gonna get Swerve being coronated at Dynasty. That was so awesome. Obviously, Adam Copeland's promo to open the show, really hyping up the company and kind of counteracting the vibes that CM Punk put out there on the Helwani MMA Hour. That was really interesting. Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, punched their ticket to title matches at the aforementioned Dynasty. So lots to like in AEW, but obviously the main talking point here that you set up is the announcement that we got on Collision. this Wednesday on Dynamite, the Young Bucks. I have the actual words here. Let me pull that up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually read the report, part of the report from Fightful Select. A graphic ran, again, this is on Saturday Collision, saying that the Young Bucks will present backstage footage from AEW All In, and we'll discuss it for the first time. Obviously, many took this as a troll or bait or a follow-up to the CM Punk Jack Perry altercation, and we're expecting it to possibly air. According to the report, though, specifically, it was reiterated to Fightful Select that numerous people in AEW think that the company isn't going to falsely promote something, much less like this story. The talent and staff that immediately inquired were told that the plan is to legitimately air the footage. Final point, then I want to kick it to you because I know you're chomping at the bit. Regarding questions of legalities, that does not appear to be an issue. It's worth noting that the Young Bucks are involved in a tag team tournament that FTR are still active in. Brad, your favorite tag team. The latter of whom are publicly close with CM Punk. When we, again, this is Fightful Select, asked talent and staff on the roster how they thought that would work out, one veteran said, and I quote, "I'd be surprised if FTR weren't given a heads up. I can't say for certain they were, but I know if I know Tony Khan the way I think I do, they would at least been given a fair warning it was coming because he respects them a lot." Last graph, those in AEW we've spoken to say that they're of the belief that the video was enough for the company to make a clean split without much of an issue or a legal battle. The footage has not been made available to anyone that Fightful Select has spoken to. That was Exposition Jones. Brad, what? How? Your thoughts?
So Nick Jackson posted on his Instagram, not the Instagram. Jesus. Get that RVD. Okay. Live on Wednesday night, we ain't trolling with this graphic. So my first thought was, I know I sent this to you in a group chat, that they're going to get Griff Garrison out there to pretend to be Jungle Boy. And they'll have like Nick will pretend to be CM Punk choking him out or something. Like it would happen, or they'd choke out Cutler or something. It would definitely happen like that. That's what I thought. And now I'm pretty convinced they're going to be airing the footage. And my guess is that TK is so pissed off about this that he's just going to do it, which I don't know what's going to happen after that, because he's got FU money, so he could probably handle a lawsuit, even losing one. But publicly, that would look really bad. Here's my concern, man. If they don't do it, if they start airing it, the best way to do this would be start airing it and have it get interrupted, so nobody ever gets to see it. So you could prove you still have the footage, but also like you don't show it, because it does look pretty desperate. Because the point of this is what? What is the point of this from a product standpoint? What do you think, Tyler? Like, what would be the point of this?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Obviously,
past Wednesday.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, FTR is close to CM Punk, but it doesn't make any sense because CM Punk is no longer in the company, and ostensibly probably will never be again. I don't see any storyline or product value other than what you said of just the emotions of CM Punk went on a 2-hour interview and roasted you as a leader. And that probably hurt your feelings. How could it not?
He might not be wrong about a lot of it, though. That's the thing. It's like if your gripe is this person is weak-minded and not a very good leader because he doesn't know how to stand up to people being critical, and that's what he said, and your response is, well, let me release this footage because I can't stand up to when people are critical. Now, the part that got me is that Punk recounted what happened according to him. And they're like, well, we have this footage that's going to say this is definitely not what you're saying is true. I don't know what happens to Punk.
Well, yeah, and that's too. If your position is CM Punk is lying, I'm going to prove what he did was egregious.
But it is a little bit carny promoter to go like, I'm gonna release this on my show for views.
Tune in. Yeah, it is very carny. It's carny just, business. Yeah,
that is
super cardy. You're not wrong.
Put it online.
Pop a rating.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's gonna pop a rating. It might be the highest rated show in a long time.
I wonder where they're gonna place it on the show. That would be interesting.
Oh, it'll be late.
You think so?
It'll be before the main event, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will tune in because they're already there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. But like the point is, if they don't come out of the box with an all-time card for AEW, and people are going to tune into your product to see this footage because of a person that no longer works there, they're tuning in for a person who's not your employee, and they're going to have to sit through your product in order to get that information, which if you put it at the beginning, they're going to leave as soon as it's over. And if you put it at the end and you don't show out, then what have you accomplished? Because if this doesn't generate viewers for the future, I just feel like it's a risky move that feels desperate, that doesn't really have any merit to it. Doesn't have any long-term goal. It's just, okay, he took a shot at me, I'm going to take a shot back. Okay, but nobody's going to win this match. Punk's gone. And WWE is completely on fire. You don't want to do this and have your company be literally on fire. So it's just I don't know. I don't see any positives in this scenario, except as fans. I'm here for the chaos. I'm ready for
it. As fans, as content creators, as podcasters.
I will be tuning in. I cannot wait for this. I am here for it. I hope it's juicy as hell. Yes, we do it on here. Let's embrace the mess. The thing is that I don't like the tribalists saying this place should close and this place should close and this. Why? Why do you want people to be out of work? Because a known Danhausen fan, me, knows that Danhausen is a big CM Punk guy, and CM Punk seemingly really respects Danhausen. And Danhausen has not been on TV in months, but he's out wrestling in the indies again. And he was clearly unhappy leading up to it. So I don't know what the hell's going on there, but like to not capitalize on your biggest merch seller by just having him on the show seems fairly insane. Even if he is a small guy that doesn't really fit in with your big wrestling plans, get him in there every once in a while. Create a cruiserweight division. There isn't one right now. So I don't know, do something creative with it instead of not having him on your show. And now we're going to release this thing. So I don't know if he is being punished because he stood up for CM Punk or what, but there's a bunch of people that aren't there right now, and I don't understand where they are. I saw Keith Lee in some random backstage footage in an interview where he went, oh, and then Punk shook his head like, why did you do that? So I don't know what's going on over there, Tyler, but I don't see any way that AEW looks good coming out of this unless that footage is super damning and the show is really good.
Well, we're going to be tuning in.
Hell yeah.
What did we miss from the week?
Well, I wrote some bullet points here. Bayley rules. Rhea Ripley. I was grimacing the entire time during that entrance, not because it was bad. It's certainly not music that I would go to listen to live. I was also confused why the lead singer looked like 2 years ago Rhea Ripley. And the terrible energy from a very cold Philadelphia crowd night one to incredible energy for night two. That crowd was on fire night two. They absolutely brought it. Wild night. So good. And somebody was comparing night one to Infinity War and night two to Endgame. Night two was going to be like Endgame. And it really was like Endgame. It was hopelessness. Cody's going to lose. He just lost the rules. We got bloodline rules. Cody has no chance. And then all the other Avengers start coming out of the abyss to help out. And I thought that was great. I'm not going to lie. The pop, man, for Undertaker's bell going off, that gong going off, huge pop, because I knew he was just going to probably choke slam The Rock. And he did. And then he dipped. And it was so great. It was so great. All of it was so good. It was, we talk about this all the time. WWE was great at moments, great at spectacle, and they pulled that off tonight. So there's so much other stuff that we missed. Caitlin Clark lost. Shout out South Carolina, because women's basketball, because of Caitlin Clark this year, won. And I'm sure there's other things that we missed that are better than what I just said, but I got nothing. It was a crazy week.
Yeah. Only other item I'm going to add is Monkey Man, the latest Jordan Peele produced film, now in theaters. Do yourself a favor, go see it. It was phenomenal. It was definitely an ode to John Wick in many ways, but it had its own twist and its own unique plot. And it was just fantastic, man. It's awesome. It was a really, really good film. Yeah, that's my only other item, man. Brad, this was a blast. And I'm just so proud of what we have going on. Again, we released our 4-part Rock series. You know, we have so much great content everywhere. Obviously, Brad, author of the 6-pack, joined us this past weekend. Please show some love. There it is. Shout out to our YouTube viewers. Brad's got the book. Mine is on its way. We hope you enjoyed that interview. We hope you grab Brad's book. And again, thank you so much for being here. We hope you will join us again for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.